It should come as no surprise to my friends and viewers that trading card games have always had a very special place in my heart. In this series, both Raikourider and myself will be opening 24 packs or one box of a core Yu-Gi-Oh set. Every week we will add an additional core set to our collections, moving in chronological order. We will use these cards to create a deck and then face off against one another in a best 2 out of 3 match, with the winner receiving 2 prizes to upgrade their deck, while the loser receives 1. These prizes can range from wildcards, to sealed product, to starter decks, and more. Every card that has been released will be available to us at least once. However, we cannot rest on our laurels. Between the ever-evolving nature of the Forbidden and Limited list, the cards that we ourselves choose to banish into the Shadow Realm, and even the way the very rules of the game will change, will keep our decks and our duels fresh. This is yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. Okay, so unfortunately Soul of the Duelist went pretty poorly for us, which I'm actually kind of disappointed about. Our deck did not really pan out as I had hoped it would, but we at least have a rough idea of what Rai has in store for us now, and honestly now I have a better idea of what to focus my ban on when I get the chance, because originally Harpy's Feather Duster was going to be something I was going to consider, but right now I'm honestly thinking something else. We'll get to that at some point. But for now, let's go to the next set, which is Rise of Destiny. This came out in November of 2004, and this is actually the first set we have yet that does not have an adjustment to the Limited or Forbidden list yet. That actually does not take place until April of the next year. So, this set is interesting because it actually has a few notable good cards in here, each of which have certain procedures or necessary themes to them. So in general we might not see a lot of them in this duel, but we'll definitely see some of them in later episodes. Scrolling through the short prints to start with, Cimoooooooo is actually a pretty good removal card, quote unquote, because you get to pick 2 face down spell or traps on the field, and as long as this card is face up, those 2 cards cannot be activated. Now they can be chained to them, but if one gets chained to it, the other one still gets affected. So it's actually a pretty good way, and it blocks out those zones as well, so it makes it harder for Rai to actually get other spell and traps out. Furin Kazan is a really interesting card, and honestly, there is a card in the future that might help us with this. You can only activate it if there is a face-up wind, water, fire, and earth monster on the field. But you could either choose to Raigeki the field, Harpy's Feather Duster the field, Delinquent Duo your opponent, or pull a Pot of Greed, which is actually really cool. And in fact, this was one of those cards that was created specifically to give you those kind of effects, albeit with heavy restrictions, because of the fact that all of these other cards were banned at the time. So this might be something fun to check out later. Scrolling into the commons here, there really aren't a whole lot of commons to talk about. We have the 3 Harpy Ladies here that are the Harpy Lady sisters, basically, from the anime. The only one that's really good is Harpy Lady 1, because it gives all your wind monsters an extra 300 attack. The problem is, each of these have the effect of being treated as Harpy Lady, period, meaning you actually can't have 3-1, 3-2, 3-3. Unfortunately, that's something they never really errated to fix with, like they did with some of the other ones, where they only become Harpy Lady in the graveyard or on the field or something, so that kind of sucks. Raging Flame Sprite is actually a key one we're going to want to pay attention to, specifically because this monster can attack directly, and if it deals damage to your opponent from that direct attack, it gains 1,000 points. Notice, it is level 3. That means that it actually gets under Gravity Bind, it gets under L-Lab. So we have to be very mindful of this card, and we definitely have to find a way to remove it if Rai plays it. Harpy's Underground is a field spell that works out for the Harpy Lady cards. It gives all of your wing-based monsters an extra 200 attack and defense, I believe. Let's see. Yep. and if any Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady Sister's card is summoned, then the one who did so could destroy a spell and trap on the field. And Homunculus the Alchemic Being is probably the best of the commons we want to see, because once per turn you could change the attribute of this card, and there are certain things that help with that, and if you have certain effects that boost attribute-based effects, or like say last episode I had Molten Destruction, I could turn this into a fire monster, it gets the boost. So, definitely interesting to work with there. As for the rares, not too many that are spectacular. Dekoichi is probably one of the best ones. It's a flip monster that lets you draw a card, and if you have any Bikochi, the freighting cars, then on the field you get to draw an extra card, but we don't play that card, so basically this is just going to be a flip for one. Darkblade the Dragon Knight's a good fusion monster to bring out using something like, say, Instant Fusion or Magical Scientist. If it deals damage to your opponent, then you could banish up to 3 monsters in their graveyard, which is pretty good. Machine Duplication works for any machine monster of 500 or less attack. You can special summon up to 2 more copies of it, which is pretty nice. And this is one we may actually have to consider as a side deck card, Chain Burst. Anytime a trap card is activated, the player that activates that trap card takes 1,000 damage immediately after it resolves. Given how Rise deck focuses a lot on traps, that might actually matter for us. Then scrolling down into the super rares, Thestalos the Firestorm Monarch is a really good 1 tribute, and hopefully we can pull him. Whenever he's tribute summoned, we discard a card from the opponent's hand. If it's a monster, they take 100 damage for each of its levels. Honestly, the discard itself is the big reason why it's good. And Divine Wrath is the other good card here. You could actually discard a card when an effect monster activates its effect, negate that effect, and destroy it, which is very helpful. And scrolling up into the ultra rares, not really anything too great. We have Mystic Swordsman level 6, which can level up from the level 4 that we got last episode. And if it destroys the monster, then it can actually flip the monster back to the top of the opponent's deck, so it kind of keeps them from drawing new cards. But aside from that, it's not really spectacular. And then the Creator is actually a pretty good card. It lets you can't special summon it from the graveyard, but once per turn, you could target a monster in your graveyard, send a card from your hand to the grave, and if you do, you get to special summon that monster. So, if we could get this out, it's actually pretty strong, and it has a pretty good effect to work with too. But aside from that, there really isn't too much else to talk about for this set, so we're going to go ahead and get started into the pack pulling. Alright, so 24 packs of Rise of Destiny. Let's see what we can come out with. And right from the start, not too shabby. A Furion Kazan is pretty good for later. Machine Duplication can have some good implications for us later. And we actually didn't discuss these. Pitch Black Werewolf and Mirage Dragon have the effect where if they are on the field, then your opponent can't actually activate any trap cards during the battle phase. Which is good because that means that Ryan won't be able to pop his Mirror Force on us if we have this on the field. So definitely something to keep in mind for later. Okay, Darkblade the Dragon Knight, pretty good rare. We only really care to see one of these, so if we don't pull any more, I'm not going to be upset about it, but definitely good to have one right from the start. Okay, here's something I forgot to think about. Fusular Dragon, the Dual Mode Beast. This is actually an interesting card. It's a level 7, I believe? Yeah, level 7 with 2800 attack. You could actually normal summon it without a tribute, but its original attack and defense become half. Now, the big thing about this is, if you play this on the field and skill drains on the field, this attack goes back to 2800. So, I'm pretty sure Rai has skill drain in his deck, so we'll have to keep that as a concern too, because that could be really powerful for us. That could be powerful for us as a side deck, but it could be also a big threat for us. If he has skill drain out, that might be something hard for us to beat over. Well, there's our first holo of the set, and unfortunately it's Gaia Soul the Combustible Collective, our ultimate rare of a rare. which is kind of disappointing, but you know what? At least it's a 2000 attacker with piercing, albeit it only lasts one turn, but hey, that's kind of nice. Raging Flame Sprite, that's good to see. Another Fusular Dragon, so this actually might be a possible side deck option for us. Okay, our first copy of Chain Burst, thank God. Another Homunculus as well, and our second Raging Flame Sprite. So you know what? Good pack, good pack. Okay, so there's our first holo that isn't an ulti rare. Triangle Ecstasy Spark, which... that's not exactly what I was hoping to see. I mean, do we even have a Harpy Lady Sisters? We do not. So, okay, yeah, that's kind of a problem then. Because this actually is useless to us. Well, actually, wait. Let me check something out real quick. Cannot activate it if Harpy Lady Sisters is not on the field. Well, shit. Yep. Okay, so yeah, we're officially screwed on that one. Which kind of bites, but hey. Nightmare Penguin, at least that's something. Okay, well that's a funny instance right there. So we hit a rare metal morph as the rare, and a rare metal morph as the ultimate rare. Which is all well and good. I mean, rare metal morph itself isn't an awful card, because the monster that gets equipped with it gains 500 points, and once can negate the spell effect of it. The problem is, it only works on machines, and we do not have enough machines to actually matter, which is kind of a problem. Still, fun little instance of hitting a double. Okay, so... not the super rare I 100% would have preferred, but you know what? I'll take this one. BES Big Core. Now, for those who have played the game a long time, you may recognize this card as its original name, Big Core. Because even though it is a member of the BES archetype, even at the time, they did not add BES to its name at the time. If this card is normal summoned, i.e. tribute summoned, or summoned without a sacrifice, you place 3 counters on it. Cannot be destroyed in battle, and at the end of the damage step, if this card battled, you remove a counter from it, and if you can't, it's destroyed. Basically, pew pew. Now, is it a really good card? Not really. Honestly, there are other cards, especially some other cards in the BES archetype later on, that get a lot better. But honestly, for a decent 2300 body, it's not that bad. Now, granted, we have to find a way to cheat this out, probably, but hey, it's a fun little card to see anyway. So, I'll take that. Alright, so we're down to the last 3 packs of the set, and honestly, so far, we haven't really seen anything spectacular, to be honest. I'm pretty sure, aside from like 3 of the commons, where aside from 3 cards, we have like a full playset of all the commons at this point. And the rares, for the most part, we've hit almost all of them, but not great. Flip this up. Doesn't look like anything special. In fact, I'm pretty sure we actually have a playset of all these at this point. So let's flip the next pack, see what we got there. Assuming it'll actually load. There we go. Flip it up, and honestly, the only notable card is Furin Kazan, because that actually completes the playset of that. Alright, so last pack of the set. Come on, give us something good, because Hollow-wise, we've hit crap. We hit 2 ultimate rares that are rares. We hit 2 super rares, and that's it. So, can we hit something in the end? Okay, well, I guess the Monkey's Paw curled one more time. Ultimate rare, ultimate insect level 3, which we are probably never going to make use of, and it's another ulti of a rare, which is irritating. But we actually pull 1 Dekoichi, the Battle Chanted Locomotive, and honestly, that is kind of redemption in itself. So, we're going to go ahead, get into the pack opener and see, or we're going to get into deck building and see what we could come up with. Stay tuned. Well, here we are in deck build, and yeah, let me just say, this may be officially one of the dumbest yet most fun decks I've ever come up with. But you know what? I feel a little less comfortable. Let's change it to something a little more fun. There we go. Much better. For those of you who do not know who this character is, number one, go watch Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. It is a hell of a show. And two, this character is known as Lebowski. For those of you older people, you may have heard of the movie The Big Lebowski. This character is based, in the dub at least, entirely around that guy. And the entire point of his deck is around the best monster in the world, Moki Moki. So basically, the general point of this is to have Moki Moki on the field, along with a crapload of other fairies, and have Moki Moki Smackdown on the field. Because if Moki Moki's on your field and a fairy-type monster you control is destroyed, the attack of every Moki Moki on your side of the field becomes 3,000 until the end of this turn. So think. Basically, the gist of it is, Moki Moki's on the field, Moki Moki sees a friend of his get blown up, Moki Moki gets pissed the fuck off, and Moki Moki becomes Blue Eyes White Dragon for a turn. And here's the best part. If I have a Moki Moki, say, and a Shining Angel with Moki Moki Smackdown, and I have Shining Angel go boom while Moki Moki's on the field, then when Shining Angel pops out a second Moki Moki, both of them have 3,000 points. This deck is going to be really stupid, and if this works, I will be shocked, but goddammit, it's going to be fun. So let's run through the card by card. We have 2 Magician of Faith, specifically to help get some of these spell cards back, because some of them are going to be important to have and maintain on the field. 1 copy of Sangan to basically search out our first Moki Moki and get the ball rolling. 2 Shining Angel, because it's a fairy, which will help with the effect, as well as also getting out another light monster, which, hey, Moki Moki's a light, Radiant Temperature's a light, Spirit of the Harp is a light, and Biomage is a light. So we have pretty much every one of our fairies that we're going to work with is a light monster. Go figure. 1 copy of Sinister Serpent for discard purposes, 1 copy of Witch of the Black Forest, again, helping us search the Moki Moki out. Then we have 3 Biomage, 3 Moki Moki, 3 Radiant Temperature, and 2 Spirit of the Harp. The reason for these is simple. Biomage, Radiant Temperature, these have the highest attack of fairies that I have on the field, or I have available to me, that A, aren't Shining Abyss, and B, don't have a ridiculously high attack. And the reason I say a ridiculously high attack is because Shining Abyss has 1,600, and Hysteric Fairy has 1,800, which under normal circumstances would be actually serviceable. The problem is, we want these monsters to die. So, Hysteric Fairy at 1,800 might be a little too much. It might be hard to crash her into something. But Radiant Temperature and Biomage, we should be able to crash them into something fairly easily to get off the effect for Moki Moki. 2 Spirit of the Harp, basically this will help us protect ourselves while we get the setup going, and then once we have the setup going, we can just switch her to attack mode and have her run into anything. For the spells, 3 Book of Moon, again, generally there to either give our Magician of Faith a second use, or alternatively to protect ourselves a little bit until we can get the setup going. 1 Dark Factory of Mass Production. This actually allows us to take 2 normal monsters in our grave and add them back to our hand. This will be a good way to recycle our Moki Mokis once they're gone. 1 Graceful Charity. We want to cycle through this deck as much as we can, which leads to our next card, Heart of the Underdog. This will be a good card because we have about ourselves 11 monsters here that are normal, so this will help us cycle through if we draw them. 1 Heavy Storm to help kind of clear the back row once Moki Moki's ready to go. 2 Level Limit Area B because Biomage, Radiant Temperature are all level 3, Moki Moki's level 1, they don't have to worry about any level gaps. 2 Moki Moki Smackdown for the sake of having ourselves our actual offense. And god, as soon as we play this down, Ryan's going to be so pissed off. 1 Pot of Greed, 1 Raigeki, 1 Swords of Revealing Light, 2 Sanctuary in the Sky. Now, these next 6 cards actually make a huge difference for us, because the big risk to this deck is that we're going to be taking a lot of life point damage. However, the Sanctuary in the Sky allows us to take any battle damage from a battle involving a fairy monster to 0. So, if Rai has a monster on the field, we could crash one of our fairies into it, let the monster die, we take no damage from that attack, and then Moki Moki gets his power up. So, this will help us out a lot. And then we have 2 Astral Barrier and 2 Spirit Barrier, which together make for a hell of a combination. Astral Barrier's effect is, if your opponent's monster attacks a monster you have on the field, you could choose to make that attack a direct attack instead. Spirit Barrier, alternatively, has the effect where if you control a monster, you take no battle damage, period. So what we can do with this, essentially, is, with these two in general, if we have a monster on the field, then Rai can't attack us, or if he does, it won't do anything for him. Meanwhile, with these two on the field, we can ram our fairies into his monster in return, set off Moki Moki, and take no damage. Then we have 1 copy of Ultimate Offering. The reason for this is because, in order to really get this effect going, we want to have Moki Moki on the field, and we also need to have a fairy monster to ram it. So, under the best of circumstances, that means either having one of these two survive a turn, or getting both of these out in the same turn. So, for the second part of it, having the extra normal summon can help. And 1 copy of Waboku, just for extra defense and to help keep our life points intact if need be. True, it keeps our monsters from being destroyed in battle that turn, but if we aren't already set up, then this will help us last a turn to wait until that. The extra deck. This time around, this actually makes a difference. We still have the standard stuff that we're never going to use, but we have 3 copies of Moki Moki King. Now, will we actually use this? Probably not. And in fact, this card is prone to missing timing. But if it's removed from the field, you can special summon as many Moki Moki as possible from your graveyard. If something happens and we are able to get this out, we can ram it. And if nothing else happens after that fight, we could get up to 3 Moki Moki on the field. Which, if we already have a Moki Moki on the field to begin with, we could get 2 back. And boom, all 3 of them will have all their power. And then 3 copies of Ojama King. These let us pick 3 monster zones that the opponent has, and they cannot be used while this card's face up on the field. And the reason we're using him in here is because of our side deck. If we want, we can actually switch into Ojamas alongside the fairies. So we have 2 Ojama Black, 2 Ojama Green, 2 Ojama Yellow, our Dark Hole, 2 Polymerization, because this will help us fuse the Moki Mokis if we want, and fuse the Ojamas into Ojama King. And here's the fun part. 2 DNA Surgery. We could flip this up, call Fairy type, so if we take out Sanctuary of the Sky, that'll keep Rise monsters from getting the benefit, but with this, we can swap these 2 out, then boom, our Ojamas become Fairy, and here's the fun part. Moki Moki Smackdown only cares if the Fairy type monster we control is destroyed. It doesn't matter if it goes to the graveyard or gets banished, it doesn't matter, and it doesn't have to be a Fairy type monster when it hits that graveyard. So, if we have this and DNA Surgery out, then whenever any of these get crashed, they still count as Fairy for the purposes of Smackdown. So that's going to be nice. And then we have Human Wave Tactics. This card is probably something most of you have never heard of. During the end of each turn, if a level 2 or lower normal monster was destroyed from battle, you could take a number of level 2 or lower normal monsters from your deck equal to the number that were destroyed and special summon them. So that means that if we have this on the field, and 2 of our normal monsters that are level 2 or lower get destroyed, then we can put 2 level 2 or lower normal monsters from our deck to the field. Specifically, this means that for Moki Moki and Ojamas, if they die, we can replace them. Even better, if we have 2 of these on the field and we lose, say, 2 monsters, we could summon 4 monsters that turn. And then 2 copies of Sakuretsu Armor, again, for the sake of protection, for the sake of having our monsters safe, until we could get set up. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have some fun with this one. It is going to be ridiculous, and guys, it is time to duel.
So at least Rise of Destiny had a little bit more impact than Soul of the Duelist. We do wave goodbye to the Deckmaster system, but we are coming to the end of an era as well. It'll be interesting to see what it is you brought.
Oh yeah, it's going to be interesting, I'll say that much. So, let's see what we can hit. Oh. Oh. I can't believe that actually worked.
Alright, well, I guess you will have the decision. And, surprising no one, I will be on the draw. Good luck, Duelist.
Good luck. Alright. So, draw. Standby, main. I think I'm going to start by setting a monster and setting a card.
Draw for turn, standby, main. I'll run out of solar.
Alright.
Go to battle phase. Hit.
Alright, I'm gonna activate my Waboku.
Waboku. You got it. Alright, I do get to at least see what your monster is.
It is my Biomage.
What is this?
Oh, you're gonna find out soon, I'm sure.
Some kind of normal monster deck? I'm very scared. Let's set a pair and pack.
Alright, draw.
You take 5 also from solar.
True. Standby main. Alright. I think I'm gonna start by running out my Witch of the Black Forest.
Okay.
Then I'm actually gonna go ahead and crash into your monster.
Ah, okay. That is absolutely fine. You can take your 400 and get your search.
Alright. So, let's see what we can pull up here. I think I'm going to go ahead and add a Magician of Faith.
I'm still very perturbed. Like, what fusion? I'm trying to remember what fusion uses that.
Sorry. Alright, main 2, I'm going to activate Level Limit Area B.
Oh, I think I know what you're up to. This is probably Enchanting Fitting Room of sorts.
Alright.
Draw for turn, standby, main. I'm gonna run out the Panda.
Oh, okay.
The Panda will be able to get over the Biomage, and you'll take 3. But I think I have a good idea what you're up to now, come to think of it. After combat, I will set 1. And I will pass the turn, and you'll take 500.
Alright. Draw. Standby main. I'm gonna go ahead and set another monster, and I'm gonna go ahead and activate the Sanctuary in the Sky.
You're on fairies? Interesting. That is very interesting. Draw for turn, standby, main. I am going to activate final attack orders. So that'll overwrite the level limit.
Alright.
I'm going to run out a giant orc.
Oh. Okay.
I'm going to proceed to the battle phase and get punished by your... No, I'm going to be intelligent. Do we want to be intelligent? Nah. Greed, 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 greed. Let's be greedy.
Alright. You take out my ray and temperature.
I know exactly what you're up to. Yeah, 37.
And then 5 at the end.
And then, well, I'm going to set a back row first. You actually don't take damage from the battle with ray and temperature.
Well, I didn't. 22
Okay.
plus 15 is 37 plus
Okay,
5.
okay, I see. All right. I will end my turn, and then during your draw phase, I'm going to end the game.
Yeah, okay.
Interesting deck you have. Concocted up, because your list is certainly interesting in game one, just from the few cards I saw. I think I know what you're up to. I think I know what you're up to, but I'm not sure yet.
Alright.
But you will be on the play.
Standby main. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and start by running out Heart of the Underdog.
Surprising no one.
I'm going to set a monster, set a card, and I will pass.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. I will run out an Archfiend Soldier.
Okay.
I will proceed to the battle phase, and I will attack your set.
I'm going to book your soldier.
Sure, you got it. Archfiend Soldier gets set. After combat, I will set 1, 2, 3 back row. I will pass the turn.
Alright, I draw.
During your draw phase, I will activate Curse of Darkness.
Alright. I will reveal Ojama Yellow to draw a card. I will reveal... Oh, come on, DB. There we go. I will reveal Ray and Temperature to draw a card.
Oh, the Ojamas. Okay. I think I see where this is going.
I will reveal Ojama Green and draw a card. I will reveal Ojama Black and draw a card. Come on, Dueling Book. There we go.
Okay, it stopped, finally. I've been on both ends of this card before, so I know how silly it can get.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to set a card. I'm going to set a monster. And I am going to end my turn.
At your end phase, I'm going to secret barrel you for 2,000.
Ew. Okay.
Draw for turn. Stand by, main. I am going to sack my Archfiend Soldier for Zabi, and I will pop your old set.
Alright, that was my Ray and Temperature.
I will activate Final Attack Orders.
Alright.
I will proceed to the battle phase, and I will attack with the Borg into your set.
I will activate Astral Barrier.
Very interesting. It is your turn.
Alright, I draw. I will reveal my Ojama Yellow and draw a card.
What kind of gimmicky combo deck is this?
Standby main. Well, I might only get to use this once, but god damn it, I'm gonna have my fun with it. I'm going to flip up my Ray and Temperature. Let's see, 14. Yep, I can actually do this once. I'm gonna have fun with this. To hell with it. I'm gonna set a card. I'm going to summon out Moki Moki, motherfucker.
Oh,
And
oh no.
I'm gonna pay 1,000 life
What
points
is
to
this?
activate Moki Moki Smackdown. Battle phase. I'm gonna send Ray and Temperature straight into your Zaborg. I will take the 1400. And Moki
And
Moki
then the
is now
Moki
3,000.
Moki becomes 3k, yeah.
Because Moki Moki
Yeah,
is
that's pretty
pissed.
good. Yeah, Moki does get frustrated. Draw for turn. Stand by. Main. Well, show me your trick.
Alright.
Battle phase. Hit. Sack. Sure. Go.
Draw. Stand by main. Well, shoot. Oh, that's gonna put me in an awkward spot, depending on what you play. Yeah, you know what? Why not? I'm pretty sure I'm losing regardless, so let's meme it up. I'm gonna pay 1,000 life points and activate Polymerization.
Oh no. No, is this Moki Moki King?
Oh no.
Oh,
It's
oh,
another
Joppa
king. It's another king. And he has to go in attack mode. Attack orders.
Yup.
Battle.
Just you can just click
I'll...
attack directly. 300 in.
Main 2.
Because those tokens aren't actually tokens; they're just indicating that those monster zones can't be used.
Right. And you know what? Because I actually can do this, screw it. I know what I lose anyway. I'm gonna play another Heart of the Underdog and take myself out.
Gonna go on your own terms.
Damn right. Okay, so let me real quick show you. Let me send you what I had told you before about, like, oh, I have a picture that you could put up. I have something you could use in editing. Because I know you just recently saw GX, so you know exactly. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm about to give you.
Yup. Oh yeah. I know exactly where that's going.
Oh my god. See, okay, so yeah, that was the entire shtick of the deck to start with. Because I looked into it. I had 3 Biomage, 3 Ray and Temperature, 2 Spirit of the Harp, and 3 Moki Moki, and 2 Shining Angel. Basically, the entire point of it to start with was going to be, let my monster live a turn, find a way to get my monster to live a turn, get smacked down on the field, get Sanctuary in the Sky on the field, crash my first guy, let Moki Moki have his fun, and then basically just keep going from there while my monsters are safe, safe, essentially. And then game two, the reason I tossed the Ojamas in here is actually because I had a backup plan to help out with Heart the Underdog even more, and that was this.
Oh, DNA surgery for Fairy.
Yep, because here's a fun little detail, and I actually checked the rulings on this. Moki Moki Smackdown's 2 requirements are, a Moki Moki has to be on the field, on my side of the field, and 2, a Fairy-type monster has to be destroyed. That does not require the monster to be Fairy-type when it hits the graveyard or banished. So,
no, it does not.
I could ram, say, Ojama King right here, if I had DNA surgery out, and he would count as a Fairy. And even better, because of how Moki Moki Smackdown works, if I have a Shining Angel, and I summon out another Moki Moki that way, and I already had a Moki on the field, both have 3,000 attack.
They do, yes. So I want now the Astral Barrier makes a ton of sense because you really want to protect Moki. But may
And
I
I also have Spirit Barrier in here as well. In fact, I actually
may
swapped out Sanctuary specifically because if I have DNA Surgery out, I can't deal damage using my Mokis against your monsters.
So I actually, when I saw the rain temperature and the sanctuary in the sky, I actually thought, and this is something I was wondering if you were playing. Were you playing Enchanting Fitting Room?
I I not playing it. I had considered it. My issue was specifically one, this deck is going to be heavily life point focused, which is already a trouble, and two, I really just didn't have the space for it.
So you did consider it at least.
Oh yeah, I definitely
Uh,
considered
so,
it, especially given the
so
fact that
the,
I had Ojamas in the back row too. It was definitely something to think about.
so this was same old for me. I only played one new card, and it wasn't even from Rise of Destiny.
Oh, and what was
Uh,
that? Or do
the
you,
only
or do you not care,
the
or
only
do you not want to show it yet?
the only new card you know about it. The only new card I played was Slate Warrior.
Oh, true, true. I forgot about Slate Warrior being a thing.
I just took out one of the 1900s for Slate Warrior.
Fair
But
enough.
I will go ahead and head to. I'll go ahead and head over to the
All right.
prize wheel.
Well, dudes and dudettes, unfortunately, that did not work out as planned. In fact, that may actually be a record for the fastest loss in this match of a match for our series so far. But you know what? I had a lot of fun with it. And as a little bit of a bonus, I get to actually spin the catch-up wheel, which is nice. Now, there is actually one other thing I need to discuss with this afterwards, and we'll get to that once I spin this wheel. So, the catch-up wheel has actually been adjusted slightly because we've been introduced to a new reprint set that came out before this set, but after Solo the Duelist, so now it counts on the wheel, and it did kind of change the rarity, the percentages around, but like I said, we'll get to that in just a moment. So let's give a couple spins here and see what we hit. Ooh, and we get to ban one card. And you know what? I am perfectly a-okay with that. So I know exactly what we're gonna ban. Yep, I was absolutely not wasting any time on this one. We are banning final attack orders because this card has been a colossal pain in my ass for the last few weeks, and quite frankly, it's gonna be a pain forever. So we're getting rid of it now. Yes, it means that level limit area B is still a problem that Rai can use against me, but at the same time, if I'm going to be attacking, I will find ways to get around that. Whereas with this, I can't play as defensively, and I don't have a whole lot of good options to clear this out in the first place. So we're going to go ahead and ban that. Now, this does lead to one other thing. As I mentioned earlier, we got access to a reprint pack. Now, this reprint pack is actually Dark Beginning 1, and it's going to be a very nice one. Because of the way we're doing this, 3 packs go to the loser, which was me, and Rai, since he won, gets 6 packs of this. Now, there is actually one other thing to take note of for this. So, the quirk about Dark Beginning 1 is that this is a reprint set. Specifically, this carries a lot of cards from Legend of Blue Eyes through, I want to say it's up through the first 4 or 5 sets. So it's either through to the end of Pharaoh's Servant or through Labyrinth of Nightmare. Judging from what I'm seeing here, I think it might be Pharaoh's Servant. But anyway, so that does lead to a couple of issues here. Specifically, there are some cards we have that are in this set that we have chosen to ban. Looking at these three specifically, these are a good example of that. Now, what we've decided on beforehand is that if we flip a pack and we hit a banned card, so like right here in the commons, if we flip this and we end up hitting a copy of, where did we see it? Down here. Here we go. Fairy box. If we hit a fairy box, we get to trade that out for a random card within that rarity. So, the rest of the rarities aren't too bad because they're all like 15, 20, even up to 30 cards. The commons, however, is going to be an interesting one because there's 185 commons. So, if we hit fairy box, we're going to have to deal with that, and we will get to that once we spin to it. But here's where we're going to have some important things for this. Polymerization is in here. We already have 2, but if we could hit a playset now, that'll be nice. But, more importantly, the 5 pieces of Exodia are here. The 4 limbs are common. We only need 2 limbs left. A leg and an arm. I do not remember which exactly one we need, but we only need 2 of them. So if we can hit the full playset, we can actually build Exodia. So let's see what we can do. Alright, so we have 3 packs of Dark Beginning 1. Personally, if we hit one of the banned cards from the other rarities, then so be it. I'm fine with that. I just hope to God we do not see Fairy Box, because having to spin multiple ways in order to randomize from 184 commons is gonna suck. Let's start. Alright, so taking a quick look. To start with, another Harpy Lady. We hit a Harpy Lady Sister, so I guess if we want to use that Triangle Ecstasy Spark, we could do that now. Legendary Fisherman, kind of neat for our rare, and it looks like that's the only rare we hit, which kind of bites. And honestly, this pack kind of looks kind of weak for us. Harpy Lady Sisters is kind of interesting, but that's about it. Alright, so second pack. Let's see. Ooh, Call of the Haunted for a super rare. That's actually not bad, because that's going to be some revival, and especially given the fact that Rai took away our Monster Reborn not too long ago, that's a good replacement. Albeit it's slow, but a good replacement's a good replacement. Scrolling through the rest of this, doesn't look like we see anything else that's great, but you know what? Still a good pack nonetheless. Okay, so we have 1 pack left. Come on. Please give us something good. Please something good. Please something good. Oh, shit! Okay, so bad news. The rest of the packs... the rest of the pack is kind of booty. Good news is we hit Imperial Order as our ultra rare, which is banned. So that means that we get to spin for a random ultra rare. So we'll get to that in just a second. Okay, so here's the wheel that we have to spin for this. This contains all 11 ultra rares from Dark Beginning 1 that are currently not banned. Now, unfortunately, this does not necessarily mean every one of these is going to be a winner for us. Specifically, because if we hit Exodia the Forbidden One, or Raigeki, we're in trouble. And the reason I say we're in trouble is because we already have a copy of both of these, and these are limited at 1. Which means that if we pull this, then that card effectively becomes a completely dead card to us. However, the rest of these, holy shit, these can be powerful. Thousand Eyes Restrict, Rai's already got one. If we can match that, that'll be nice. Torrential Tribute, he really wants a TT. If we could get a TT, that'll really mess with him. Change of Heart is just general good. Dark Magician's kind of meh, but it's power, if nothing else. Dark Sage, we really don't want to see that, to be entirely honest. Big Shield Garden is kind of decent, but whatever. Blue Eyes White Dragon, we actually already have, I want to say we have 2 of these. Yeah, we actually have 2. So if we hit a third, that'll actually be really good because we can actually